Today is Thursday, Parashat Vayigash. I was asked a question today by one of my congregants. Why is it that Yosef is making his brothers suffer, putting the cup into the bag of BinyAmin and accusing them of stealing his cup when actually they did nothing like that? Why is he accusing them of these things, and how come? Is he doing this to make them afraid, to make them go through all that aggravation? The beginning of this parasha is when Yehuda comes forward and pleads on behalf of BinyAmin. Actually, what Yosef was doing is for their own good. And I'll explain. When a person does teshuvah, the best proof that person is really genuine about the teshuvah, but repenting, and the fact that he's really a rehabilitated offender, if we could call him that way, is when he's in a similar situation in the future and he withstands the temptation to do wrong, and he actually shows in reality, not just in potential, that he has really done teshuvah and now he will act only properly. Yehuda was the brother who suggested to sell Yosef as a slave to the Ishmaelim. He's the one that needs a proof that he really has done teshuvah. The brothers who hated Yosef and who sold him needed to be put to test, quote unquote, and to see how they would act. By Yosef putting the cup into the bag of BinyAmin and accusing him of having stolen that cup and wanting to keep him as a slave, puts the brother to test. Will they just go back to their father, to Yaakov, and say, it's not our fault? After all, BinyAmin was the son of Rachel, just like Yosef. And maybe if they would leave him with Yosef, that would be a proof that they haven't changed their ways. But what happens here at the beginning of this parasha? Yehuda, who's the one who sold or suggested to sell Yosef, he's offering himself to be a slave instead of BinyAmin. They will not just abandon their brother BinyAmin. On the opposite, they're putting themselves on the line to make sure that he is saved, to the extent that Yehuda is willing himself to make himself a slave. That's really a total different approach that was before. If before they sold him, now they're willing to sell themselves, so to speak, to save him. That's a proof that they've really done teshuvah, and they're really, as they call them, rehabilitated offenders. And in that sense, what Yosef was doing was with a lot of wisdom, a lot of understanding of the nature, human nature, and really to bring him to a point where they would show, not just in potential and just by words, by action, that they really have changed their ways, and really now their feelings towards the children of Rachel are different than what they was before. And that was for their own good. And when they reunite, there's an incredible amount of love and appreciation for each other. And it's a beautiful story that comes to sort of like a happy end here when they come back together and they live in Goshen, and the son Yosef of Yaakov is the second in command for all of Egypt. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.